good morning, and thank you very much for joining us at the Future Print Virtual Conference. And I'm very pleased to have with me today Mr. Matt Brooks of Inca Digital. Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Fraser. Nice to see you. Hello, everybody.
And you. Good to see you. And this session we titled as Differentiate with Digital with a focus on flexibility. And I think what we're really covering here is, actually, it's a bit of a preview, isn't it? It's a preview for the single pass solution that Inca have on offer at the moment. So that's quite exciting for us. Just to give you a little profile on Matt, he spent 2 decades in the print industry, beginning as a chemist. So coming from that side of things, developing printing inks. He's moved into systems integration and applications before joining Inca in 2015. So yeah, nice little bit of potted history of Matt. So Matt, you're going to share with us your slides and give us a little short presentation, and then I'm going to ask a few questions to get a little deeper into the understanding of what your product looks like. So over to you.
Okay, thanks, Fraser. I will share my screen. So yeah, have a few slides, guys, which we'll run through. Essentially, a little bit around who we are, Inca, if those of you who don't know us, a bit about our experience and building on that, and then sort of diving then into how our future products might look like from a development and an offering point of view with single pass in mind, and just really trying to relay some messages around why Inca, why we're different to the other single pass print offerings in that space, and focusing a little bit on the flexibility that we sort of have built our credibility on, really. So yeah, and really excited to be part of the summit again. We took part in the one at the end of last year where we were able to tap into packaging, and this is a really another exciting opportunity for us to show you guys some of the good, cool, exciting stuff we're working on, and hopefully be able to strum up some partnerships or some more market research that can help with the product development. So really excited about being part of this today. Thank you for that opportunity, Fraser.
No worries. Over to you, really.
So thank you. So who are Inca? Well, we've been developing, manufacturing and servicing inkjet printers for a little over 20 years now, since 2000. We led the way with the first innovation in UV flatbed technology right at the turn of the millennium, and launched the Eagle in the first line of that equipment back in 2001. And since then, we've brought out various new products, iterations, and new features, as well as brand new products. Finally, well, not finally, but lastly, with the Onset X HS series in the summer of 2019. And over that time, we've delivered over 800 machines to more than 500 customers, which is massive, really. And that's served a number of markets and a number of applications for a whole host of different materials, and it's really that experience and that flexibility that we've built into our products that we want to take forward into the next 20 years as we look to develop single pass products and products that are a little bit more different and a little bit suited to new markets such as packaging. And out of that install base, really proud of the fact that after some recent market research, which suggested we were actually printing, or 1 in 8 of all UV wide format was printed on an Inca printer. So globally, that's again quite massive, really. So you look at that, where we've been successful and how we're looking to be successful in the future, and how we can continue to enhance our brand, then look, building that diversity and flexibility into our single pass offering is really quite important. So we are collaborating with our parent company, Screen, in the development of that single pass print offering. It will be a sheet fed printer, and currently it's being developed, ready for beta under the product name SpeedSet. That's to part as we continue with our market research and business development, will be known as Speedset. But when we launch the product, it will have a more commercial packaging sounding name. So if we think about that and thinking about how we can build, or we are building on our experience, the Onset and the Onset XHS that is now the most recent launch, it appeals to a wide range of customers, a wide range of applications. It's developed and built to handle the widest possible material range, both from a material handling, but also an ink technology point of view. We have different ink offerings for different materials, and different robotics and different handling systems depending on your mix of material and your volume of work. So much so we've taken that another step further from a complete end-to-end workflow to include cutting and finishing now. We can offer all sorts of customization solutions, projects for not just material handling, but also workflow and integration into your needs, and in terms of getting data back out of the machine. So we all looking at metrics and how we can reduce touch points and how we can go on more efficient. Then our next generation product has to take all of that into consideration. And so some of the developments we've made from a software and integration point of view will help us in making sure that Speedset continues to offer and bring that flexible approach and that level of expertise when it comes to market. So you can see on the screen in front of you, we've got a snapshot of our facility in Cambridge here in the UK, which is our demo facility, where we're able to not only develop and enhance our product, but also show it to customers who are interested both physically and virtually. And you can see the robots and the cutter there. We're also able to handle all of the papers and boards and corrugated boards that might be appealing to the packaging world. And then below it, a very familiar looking drawing to the packaging world, perhaps. It looks a lot like an offset press, is a first look of Speedset. So Speedset, which leads me nicely into the kind of top level product specification. We are looking at a 40-inch B1 format, initially intended for the folding carton and paperboard space. It's a water-based aqueous print engine, and we'll have the capability to deliver high quality at high speed over a range of paperboard materials. With its top level speed of 11,000 sheets an hour, that's our target speed, our product spec, running at 150 meters a minute. Now, like all Inca products, there'll be a range of print modes available at various resolutions to capture material quality and also market demand. So within the specification, there'll be options for 50, 75, and 100 meters a minute, as well as the 11,150 meters a minute mode. In addition to that speed, we sort of talk about how we are going to be different, how our product is going to be more flexible compared to something that's already in the single pass space. Well, not only will we be able to handle corrugated board, but we'll be able to handle all folding carton material from 0.2 millimeter thickness all the way up to 0.9 millimeter. And in some other markets, especially the North American markets, where the boards are a greater thickness gauge, we'll obviously be able to handle up to 2 millimeter to thickness. Now, we're not constrained to folding carton or microflute or corrugated. We can also achieve thinner gauge material from a paper point of view. So if you're able to, if you have applications that require paper as opposed to board, more flexible material, then we'll be able to go down to 0.1 millimeter thickness gauge. So effectively, what we're saying is we would encourage the market and our potential customers to look at your requirements, look at your sort of objectives, material range, and talk to us, because potentially this system will have the capability to handle material within a range of media thicknesses. And also, we'll be in a position where effectively, we can put in a stack of material, set the material feeding handling system up, and the print engine will take over. With it being a digital device, the setup time will be reduced. We'll be able to load the artwork that's required, necessary for the material type. All of the job information can be sent from a web-based user interface. So there's a whole, not just from a hardware and flexibility point of view, but a user interface and a software point perspective. Why corrugated? Well, I think probably most people are aware that a lot of the single pass product offerings currently are for, or have been looking at, the corrugated packaging space for display, but also shelf-ready packaging and sort of handling goods. And also, there are single pass offerings for high-quality commercial print and packaging. So our product will be able to bring both of those elements together and look at both markets and also the materials that tap into those areas. So the shelf-ready packaging, retail-ready packaging, as well as the high-end beauty cosmetics, because we'll be able to achieve that level of quality. And then, real boom at the moment, everything's talking about e-commerce and on-demand and bringing that unboxing experience to your living room or your front door. SpeedSet will have that capability. So we'll be able to print pretty much everything that offset litho can do, but also things it can't do. And what you can see in front of you on the screen, these are actual prints that have been taken from our prototype. So we've got a mix there already of a piece of packaging for a luxury food brand. It's been designed to demonstrate our capability, but then also your fridge pack, your on-demand design beer caddy, if you like. And here, we came up with this design for a Christmas campaign, but it's showcasing what you as a consumer or as a converter could potentially do with the flexibility and versatility of something like SpeedSet. Just to tap in before I move on the format size, it's important to also say that Inca with Screen will be developing a family of product iterations for SpeedSet. So today is about 40-inch format and how that's going to be flexible for a whole host of applications and materials. But there is a roadmap and there is a journey and a plan for larger format, different product specifications. And anybody who's interested in learning more about that or having an input, please get in touch, because we're looking for partners and opportunities to help develop that family of products, as we have with our onset and our wide format offering. So we just sort of dive a little bit deeper into the architecture and the specification. So you've seen from a top level what speed it can achieve, what sort of market and applications. But again, really bringing the engine to life here, in a sense that we are developing a fully integrated inline automatic system that allows you to handle and feed the range of materials that we've already discussed, from paper all the way up to corrugated, up to 2 millimeter thickness. And we'll be able to control that accurately. So we'll have registration guides when we're feeding the sheets in that will come down the traverse slope onto the vacuum bed. Belt, sorry. So used to wide format, but here we're talking about a vacuum belt at high speed. But before we enter the print engine, there'll be an option with our offering to jet an aqueous primer. So we'll be able to select, depending on your material type, depending on your quality of material, whether it's coated or uncoated, whether it's recyclable or not, or whether it's a high-end coated piece of material, whether you need to use the primer, or maybe you want to use the primer for creating some sort of special effect. But the point here is, with it being an inkjet digital offering, you can select it. So it's on demand. From the primer station, we move through the print engine, and we'll have we'll have space for up to 7 colors. The base machine is initially CMYK, but there will be the ability to add spot colors to the product specification, depending on your needs. So again, building that sort of scalability and flexibility into the product. Following the color configuration in the print engine, we'll have, in addition to the jettable primer, we'll also have the option to jet an inkjet varnish. So the varnish, potentially could be a game changer for us, where not only can we utilize it for protection, depending on the application the print is intended for, but also some form of embellishment, special effects, where we might want to be able to create something like spot gloss or some sort of fancy packaging application. Once we've gone through the print engine, then we introduced inspection and following the drying. So we'll have the ability to make sure the print quality is okay, feedback to the operating system, and accept or reject depending on the feedback. Now, the reject can be utilized for that potential acceptance of the print, but also with the technology that we have, we'll also be able to determine ahead of printing whether or not the material can be used. So, we've talked about papers, boards, fluted, corrugated. If we have a material in that's perhaps not so good quality, then the intelligence of the machine will be able to detect that and potentially pass through the material that's out of spec or curled up that could damage the print heads, and it will pass it through all the way to the reject station, so it won't print. And this intelligence really, we think, helps us stand out from some of the other options. And finally, if we have printed the piece, then we'll stack at the end, and we'll have access to the stacker in order to be able to remove the print and move it on to its next stage in the production process. At the top of the screen, we've highlighted the console. The console, effectively will be flexible, that you can move around. So depending on your footprint and your space and your layout, you can. It's not restricted to the design that you can see in front of you. And this is open to interpretation, obviously. But some of the key features there, obviously we're talking about uptime. We're talking about a machine at high speed and high quality, especially inkjet. We want to be able to see what's going on inside, make sure that the quality is maintained, make sure the reliability and the print continues in the way we expect it to. So if I move on, then obviously we've looked at kind of overall architecture and some of the key features, but just to drill down in a couple of the, I think, differentials for us from SpeedSet's point of view, that flexibility. We really want to provide the freedom that expands your capability as a consumer, or somebody who's looking to maybe invest in digital or complement your analog processes today with a digital device. Then some of the key things to facilitate that reliability and that flexibility is not just the print engine and the quality, but how we handle those materials. So here we've got a very strong vacuum belt. So the belt is running at high speed in order for us to achieve the 150 meters a minute and the 11,000 sheets in terms of throughput. The vacuum is built on our onset-like vacuum. So anybody who's seen an onset where corrugated board comes in all shapes and sizes and conditions from warp to very flat, then that vacuum hold down that allows us to run that type of material reliably on our onset has been adapted and adopted for speedset. So, albeit in a belt, within belt technology, we're able to have precise vacuum hold down with no, as reliable as possible. The picture also highlights the detection system. So I mentioned, the intelligence to pass sheets through if they are effectively unprintable. The detection system will detect those sheets. The print engine will be intelligent to remove itself up or and away from the bed, from the belt, and pass those sheets through. So we'll maintain vacuum so we don't cause any problems, and those will pass all the way through to the reject station. This really allows us to move from the thinner, flexible papers all the way up to the thicker, stiffer boards and into the corrugated space. And it's this technology that we think allows us, helps us offer that type of capability. In addition to the belt, I just want to really kind of home in on the jettable inkjet primer, which will be built on similar chemistry to the inkjet. So, I'm sure people will ask, well, why? Why do we need a primer? We've got products that can print direct to board without any problems. But I would invite you to really assess that type of board quality in the sense that we're not just talking about primer that allows you to print the poorer grades of material all the way through to the higher quality grades of material. We're talking about the versatility and the whole digital experience, the fact that you can optionally select the primer, which will allow you to optimize dot gain for those types of materials. So we can change the quality, we can change the color. With our experience from flatbed technology is some jobs may require less quality than other jobs. And in some of the applications we're targeting with SpeedSet, we're looking at very high-end luxury packaging all the way down to sort of 2 and 4 color corrugated shelf-ready packaging. And it may be that some of those boards don't need the level of quality, and therefore potentially the primer can come into play where we can help optimize how that quality looks all in one system and one offering. So you can see, hopefully from the picture here, how the dot gain and the print quality can be affected depending on the level of primer. So we can tune the primer as well as the inkset to suit the material, which is a real advantage. And again, really just pushing on that message that we're able to print everything that offset can, analog can, plus the materials that it can't handle. And these are, we think, two of the key reasons: print quality, wetting of the material, but also the ability to handle and hold down more rigid, stiffer materials. So again, sort of building on the primer story, we also have the post-print option for varnish, which allows us to create all sorts of nice features for embellishment, but also protection. We talked about main application being folding carton and some luxury high-end packaging, food and beverage, but also lesser quality demand product. Well, in some of those cases, having the protection for the print when it moves through its post-print processes into die cutting, foiling, handling, filling. There's all sorts of touch points where the print could potentially be damaged depending on the type of material. So again, here, having the ability to select a varnish digitally, depending on that application and depending on that market, we think there's a real nice feature and something a bit different compared to what's out there already, which is practical. But also, if you don't need it for protection and you want to enhance your product, make it look a little bit more, luxurious, then the ability to spot gloss or create special effects is a fantastic feature and really something that SpeedSet can deliver on. And then just lastly here on this slide, you can see sort of under the hood the print bars. So I mentioned the base machine, I mentioned the optional primer and varnish. And this gives you a sort of insight of how that technology and architecture would look under the hood. And you can sort of imagine then the belt running at speed under the print bars. There's not a lot of space, there's not a lot of gap between the belt and the heads. So having that ability to handle and control the media type, depending on quality, is also really important for us to be successful with SpeedSet. So in summary, I think really it has a lot of features, SpeedSet, that differentiates us from other products in the single pass space. We are able to offer the speed that's necessary to complement offset and analog. That's always been a real sort of key prerequisite from that market. And I think what we're really starting to see now is a repeat of 20 years ago when we brought the Eagle out and we were looking at posters and screen printing applications. We're now really seeing a move for the offset analog world for packaging, and we hope that SpeedSet has enough of those features to really start and make converters and offset printers take notice and show interest. So not just the speed, but the quality, the ink laydown, some of the applications in terms of indirect or direct food contact, then aqueous inks can be important for that. But ultimately, the flexibility in terms of actually I can do something a little bit different than what I can with my offset litho press. I can do all sorts of handle all sorts of paperboard materials, as well as create some nice effects with the primer and the varnish. And I can do that with one system. I haven't got to roll in a analog coater or a pre-coat, and I've got my inline feeder and stacker with my inspection system that can reject material. That's a lot of power within one system. So our substrate range, we think, is a key enabler here. That whole range of materials from thickness and material type, but also, with it being an inkjet system product and a digital system, everybody's heard the advantages of digital in terms of reducing costs and job setup time. Here obviously I guess it's stating the obvious, but we don't have all of the things like plate costs and setup times. We're able to reduce waste. We're able to get product to market quicker, and we're really able to tap into that short run space that it's maybe more challenging for the offset world today. And then we also think that we've got a very strong opportunity in the emerging growth areas, such as e-commerce, the startup brands for food and beverage, the shelf-ready packaging. We look at the world we're in today, where what's really boomed through this pandemic has been packaging. And so having an inkjet print system that has the capability to provide that level of service into these markets, we think is very exciting for us in our future. I've talked a little bit about the spec and I've talked a little bit about the flexibility, but really what I would invite you is if this looks of interest or you want to know more, or you're a customer that's thinking, oh, my material doesn't quite fit that. Hopefully there's enough from what you've heard today that will invite you to talk to us and ask, what about this material? What about that material? And that really builds on our message.
Matt, what just out of curiosity as we're wrapping up here, who are the typical customers? Could they be obviously existing Inca customers, but who else would be your typical target customers for this product?
So I think looking at the research we've done, Fraser, we've got that whole sort of 40-inch B1 format offset folding carton world. It's a big space in North America and Europe. But looking at that packaging market, not just our existing Inca customers where they might utilize onset for display or corrugated packaging. We're really homing in on carton and paper packaging applications. So customers that maybe are converters today that bring print product, offset printed product in and convert it, or high offset customers that are looking for a solution that answers the short run question. A lot of offset is built on high volume, long run lengths, not necessarily shorter run, and quick turnaround time. So that market where that's our customers really.
That's your opportunity. And just out of curiosity, how quick do you sense that it will start to deliver value for a new customer?
I think if you look at the material range and you look at the sort of investment costs, then the no setup costs, the reduced plates, the weight, limited waste, the fact that you're not sending print to a warehouse ready to be picked, I think that you'll see a very fast turnaround time on your investment. It's really difficult to say quantify that right now, but looking at the research, looking at where the space is in terms of run length, then that will be return on investment. You
feel fairly confident that it's going to deliver fair. I get that. Makes sense. I think you have a final slide with just if anyone's interested in talking to you more.
Yeah. So this slide actually probably excites me the most, because here we've got some photos of real samples that we produced at Inca on the SpeedSet prototype, and these are available in a sample pack. If anybody wants to learn and connect and understand a bit more, you can have these samples for real.
Brilliant, fantastic.
We're part of Inca are a partner of FM Futures, so if you want to get in touch, then you don't want to get in touch with us directly, you can get in touch.
Come through us, come through us. Or alternatively, if you just want to find out a little bit more, I know you're doing a number of these webinars to actually give people a little bit more kind of dive, deeply into the detail. Matt, we've come to the end of time. It's been a good session in terms of giving us a lot of information and detail. As it says here, if you want to get in contact with Matt, it's available he's available to find out more. And I'd say thank you very much, Matt, for giving us a very comprehensive session.